Yeah, I appreciate everybody. First off, congratulations to our men's basketball team, tournament champions. Obviously, that's been a hot topic and a proud topic. Also, just both teams advancing to the tournament. Awful proud of both units. 7 wrestlers in the NCAA championships, headed up to Detroit yesterday. I got a chance to see them. Women's softball ranked number 1. Can't wait to get out and watch those ladies. The success of the track and field teams, 2 national champions, Rachel and Lindsay, outstanding. It makes you feel proud. And, it's motivation for our group. It's excitement around our department right now. And that's what you want heading into spring ball. The guys have done a nice job in what I call phase 1, which is our winter program. They really had a ton of energy. We competed like crazy out there. We got better at some base fundamental things from a football standpoint and just being a good athlete and how we change direction and what kind of pad level and those type of things, finishing, takeoffs, the things that are really important in this deal. So the next piece of this is to springboard it into spring practice. And that we have a chance to get out there and take some of what we've been doing in phase 1 in the winter and apply it to practice number 1 and practice number 2. I like to call these 2 helmet days that we kick it off, that's kind of our mini camp. And it's back-to-back practices, a lot of installation, a lot of teaching, and we'll get that knocked out Friday and Saturday. Of course, Saturday is an open practice for the public. We want to do that. That was important to us, that we get a chance to showcase some of our skills and what we're excited about to our fan base. So I'd encourage folks to come out and join us. I think our objectives for this spring, I get asked that all the time right now. And again, it's about a level of competing, of a grasp of fundamentals, understanding what's important to each position coach. There's core ingredients to be successful at each position, and I want to make sure that our coaches have done a great job explaining that to the players, that they understand what it's going to take to be great at that position, and I think they've done a good job this winter with a foundation. So. We're making progress. We'll see how much is translated to the field. Are we able to make the right decisions and make the right reads and get our eyes in the right place when the ball turns over? That's what happens in spring. That's a little bit different in the winter. There's a ball out there and there's plays being run and reads and things are happening a lot faster. So the other piece that is providing a lot of energy right now is it's a clean slate for everybody. And there's a lot of guys right now that feel the opportunity, which is real. Guys that can impact this team. That's what the message has been, that you've been sitting in the wings and you've been on that 3rd or 4th rung and you don't feel like you should be. Well, show us. This is the time. There's no starting spot promised right now. I know coaches say that, but I feel that way. We're going to play the guys that give us the best chance to win. And that's not just talent. That's maturity. That's commitment. That's understanding of the schemes. That's guys that can be accountable to what's being asked of them. So, I love the spring. Spring practice to me, when you don't have to worry about an opponent, all the focus and attention is on our guys and our staff and being the best version of Virginia Tech that we can be out there each and every practice. You only get 15 of them, so you have to make the most of every one. We've planned these first 4 or 5 practices for over a month now, what we want to get out of them as coordinators, on special teams, offense and defense. So we're going to work together. I'm not interested in going out there and trying to trick each other in the spring. It's about exposing our guys to what they need exposure to help them prepare and put ourselves in position to train like crazy this summer and then have a heck of a camp. Camp is different. We get to camp, we're going to start introducing opponents and schemes and plans, and the depth chart takes a much better shape. The spring ball is about fundamentals, techniques, grasping concepts, competing like crazy. We had a very competitive winter. We did a lot of competitive drills throughout. And in the end, I think that's where we still need to grow. Well, we got to hate losing and do anything to win. And that's what we're trying. That's part of the culture here. So, I think at this point, I'll open it up for questions.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, is there, in terms of the roster, anybody that's going to miss the spring with injuries that you know of right now, like off-season surgery or anything like that you could rule out?
Everybody right now is going to be involved to some degree. There's guys that will be limited, but there's nobody that's just going to be standing on the sideline for the entire practice. So, Brett's done a great job of bringing these guys along and filling us in on, the progress and what we can expect from them this spring. I want guys as involved as they can be right now. And, if that's 50%, that's 50%. If that's non-contact, it's non-contact. But I want guys involved. So right now, everybody's involved in spring.
And in terms of attrition, did you guys have any in the last month or so? Anybody enter the portal or anything? And I know you kind of talked about you didn't really expect that. You thought guys would stick it out, but just curious where you think kind of the roster is going into spring. Surprised that there wasn't more of that kind of the last 2 months?
Yeah, I think everybody, again, there's a lot of excitement right now. I don't see I think every guy's, they want an opportunity to prove themselves right now, and they feel like they can. I expect a lot of attrition, to be quite honest. I think there'll be a lot of movement as we get into spring and out of spring. There's a lot of competition. There's not room for everybody, to be quite honest. And, so, there'll be some movement. I expect that. And, some of it, I hope most of it is because, it favors us. But there'll be, I would imagine there'll be some that, that we're not happy about.
But none for right now?
None for right now. Not anything that's significant.
You sound like from the outset of spring you want to be go, go, go with how you do things. Do you have to remind yourself that this is still like a process with this new group at times, or is that hard to do?
Yeah, I think, I expressed to the coaching staff, let's make sure we rehearse what we want to see happen out there. Let's make sure they understand the flow of practice. I want to be efficient, but we are not being aggressive with installation and things like that. Again, it's ground up. It's 100 level. We're not going to be a 200 level club until we master 100 level. And the kids know that. The coaches know that. And, we'll slow down installation wherever we need to if we're not happy with the results. So there is a lot of excitement. There's a lot of energy. We are going to be hustling like crazy out there. I tell the team, I don't want to ever see a sense of panic. There's a way to play fast. There's a way to be efficient. There's a way to hustle. But when you see panic, you see people in a hurry, that's not what I'm looking for.
Who are some of the guys that stood out in your hunger drills over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think you always have to mention Dax. He's such a worker, and he tries so hard to do everything that you ask him to do and do it the way you're asking him to do it. I think he had a great winter. Chamari had a great winter. Really a great worker, always at the front of the line. There's some guys that competed like crazy that was good to see. The Moore brothers, that's an exciting duo right there. A set of brothers right there, or some brothers that have just been really exciting. We actually threw them out there in a tire pool against each other. I think Big Brother played with him for just a little bit and then kind of finished him off. But, so there's been a bunch of guys, to be quite honest, that have done well. But Dak stands out. I think, your Connor has had an outstanding winter. Connor's one of the better athletes on this football team. He's long, he can run, he competes, he's smart. we got to find a way to make sure that he's getting some opportunities, and not just if he's not our quarterback, then where is he helping us? Because to me, if I had to rank our 22 best players right now, he'd certainly be on that list.
As a defensive coordinator, you didn't have to worry about a quarterback competition too much at previous stops. How do you structure that in your first spring here? And we talked to Brad before. He said 6 guys would get reps right away. Do you have to whittle that down quickly? How's that whole thing going to work?
Yeah, I think you have to whittle it down quick. And, there's going to be enough reps spread around, even in the first 2 practices, that things could start to take some shape, We're going to talk personnel after each and every practice. There'll be a personnel discussion on teams, offense, and defense. And to make sure we're evaluating these guys daily and discussing potential moves, which I've talked to them about. And there'll be guys hit that portal maybe because they don't like the position change. There's been conversations, I'm told, that guys were asked to move and it didn't happen. They didn't want it to happen. We're not going to live in that world. This team is first. And if we feel it's in your best interest, our team's best interest, for you to reach your potential at another spot, then we're going to ask you to do that. That's what this first spring is about. I'm not as concerned about these guys understanding 2-minute and certain situations. I want to see these guys compete, hustle, operate with fundamentals, who can tackle, who can make plays after the catch. We got to see what these guys can do.
Anthony.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned that it was important to you to open up practice to the fans this weekend. Why was that something that you wanted to do specifically, and what are you looking forward to about getting out in Lane Stadium?
Well, again, for me, this is about all of us, right? And these fans, they're hungry for it. They want to see it. They want to see these guys work and train. And, I think we'll be a pretty good product out there. But, again, we're still in the infancy on this thing. So I think the expectations, have to be realistic. But we want to be there. This is a two-way street. And I keep, that's been the narrative. We're not just asking high school coaches to send their players here. We're giving back. We're not just asking these fans to support us. We're giving back. We're not just asking Letterman to get involved. We're giving back. And, that message will remain constant. And this is just part of that, And I think it should be exciting for our players to see some folks up in the stands and supporting them this spring. And, hopefully, we can give them something to cheer about.
You mentioned that you want the team to hate to lose, that's something that maybe you haven't seen yet. How does that manifest itself? It's easy on a Saturday, right? You lose a game, it sucks. But in practice, how do you see that at a practice, or how do you see that at spring camp? And is that something you felt like you've had to instill in all your defenses, or if some programs you've kind of gone to had that more than others? Just kind of curious. You mentioned that at the top. Kind of speak a little more on that.
Yeah, it's very important to me. I'm glad you bring it up. It's these guys, just for instance, this winter, we tried to create in our agility drills as many situations where the guys were competing to see who would win the drill. It's just a 4-cone drill. But we're going to look and see who's winning between a couple of guys, and we're going to call them out. When I see a freshman guy that's not near as talented as a senior who's super talented and has a great skill set, when I see that freshman win a rep or two, something's not right. And we're going to call them out, and we're going to challenge that senior in that situation. It's too easy. They're just too willing at times to lose, to not win the race, to win the rep. We got to change that. I want them to feel like they'll do anything and go above and beyond to prepare and to compete to win. And that's got to happen in the winter. That's got to happen in the spring. That's got to happen in the summer. That's got to happen in camp if you want it to happen on Saturdays, where they will lay it down to win the game, to win the rep. The more you invest and the more you pour into this thing, the harder it'll be to lose a rep, to lose a practice, to lose a game. And we just got to keep grinding at that. I think that's critical to our culture here. I think it was always something that's been important to me as a defensive coordinator. I always wanted guys that would just do anything to make the play. No regard for banging an elbow or busting a knuckle or run by their own teammate to get to the ball. That's how we got to play, hungry and hard and compete, and the desire to win every snap. And you got to create that all winter, all spring, all summer. It doesn't just happen on Saturdays. And I've explained that to the guys. You can't just ask that of yourself, on a Saturday. It's got to be part of who you are. And right now there's guys that it's too easy to let up on a rep and finish second. It shouldn't be that way.
Are you able to, in your past, I know it's on more on the defensive side of the ball with your history, but accurately, is spring an accurate prediction how it goes or what you see of how the team's going to perform? Or have you had surprises where a team develops more so in the fall? Like, I mean, are you able to get a sense of what kind of, for you it was defense, but like defense you knew in the spring, this is a defense that's like a 10-win team versus a 7-win team or something like that, where you're able to kind of tell the talent level's different or the personnel's not there. Is it an accurate predictor or can it be?
I think it gives you a pretty good idea. Again, it's about evaluating strengths and weaknesses, right? That's for the individual player, and that's at that position. If you feel like you need to have 4 defensive ends going into the fall, and you got 1 and 2 coming out of last season, but 3 and 4 you got question marks about. They got areas they have to improve in. And so in the spring, that's what you're hoping to accomplish. So when you come out of that, maybe number 3, he did it. He did what was necessary to make us trust him and feel better about winning that conference with him. Defensive end number 4, maybe not. Still got questions to be answered or didn't do certain things well enough. Maybe he's a better 3 technique than he is defensive end. So you're still going to have questions coming out of spring, but you're going to be a little closer to knowing what kind of group you got.
One more, Chris.
Bryce Duke seems to have had a good offseason for an early enrollee. Can you talk a little bit about his offseason and maybe some of the other early enrollees that have stood out to you?
Yeah, Bryce is one of those guys when you think about this winter that does stand out, particularly as a freshman. He competes like crazy. He keeps his mouth shut. He's a great worker, and he's got a good skill set. I like what he's about right now. So he's one of those freshmen that has a skill set, has the physique, the physical makeup, and the maturity, to potentially help us as a freshman.